Functions in Java. In this demonstration, we are discussing Java functions. Java functions can be categorized in two different categories. One is a user-defined function, or in short can be called as UDF, where the function prototype, the function body, will be written by the programmer. Another function is known as the inbuilt function or predefined function or library functions, which function bodies are pre-written and we are supposed to use them as when required in our code. A function can be recursive, can be also non-recursive. So let us go for the function examples. So a function should have a return type. The return type may be void also or any other data type. Then the function name will be there. Then optional input argument or argument list will be there. So that is a basic prototype of a function. So public static int add int a comma int b. So here the name of the function is add, and it takes the two input arguments, that is int a and int b. That means it is taking two arguments of the both of the type integer, and then it returns int. That means it returns one value which is of the type of integer. It is defined as static. That means this function can be called without defining the function class object, and this function is under the public scope, can be accessed outside of the class also. Within the function we have defined one local variable, and that is the int sum. So that is the local variable there. A and b are the input arguments, input parameters, so they will get added and sum will hold the sum to total of these two a and b variables, and then return sum. We know the sum is having the data type integer, so as it is returning, so that's why this function will have the integer as the return type. Next one, we are having one recursive function. We know that in case of recursive function, the function will have a capability to call itself. That means here you can see that within this factorial function body, we are calling the factorial itself. And another property will be there, a function will be recursive if it is having some base cases. Base cases means for certain inputs, the outputs are known to us. In those cases, it is known as the base case, and the recursive function will have the capability to call itself either directly or indirectly. So here we are observing the direct calling, because within the function body itself, the function itself has called. So if num is less than equal to 0, so actually you are calculating the factorial of a given number. Here the number has been passed as argument, input argument, and the variable is num. So if the num is less than equal to 1, that means if the num is 0 or if the number is 1, then we are going for this return num. So when the number is 1 or less than that, the factorial will be 1 here. So I think it will be better if we return this one as 1, because in case of 0 factorial also, the return value will be 1. Otherwise what will happen, it will return num star factorial num minus 1. That means if I want to calculate the factorial of 4, then actually the factorial of 4 can be written as 4 into 3 factorial. That means we are calculating the factorial of num minus 1, and that will get multiplied with the num, and that will be returned as the output argument. So in this way we are writing one recursive function here. So let us go for the main function. So num is equal to 5, and result we have defined, res result variable we have defined. So at first we are using some library functions or predefined functions or pre-written function. Here the function is pow. So math.pow. So math is a respective class name, and it is defined under the java.lang package, and pow is a function which will take two double as input argument, and it returns a double as output. So this is the num we are passing, that is a 5, and 3 we are passing. So actually it is calculating num to the power of 3. It is actually calculating num to the power of 3. So here you see, here this num is equal to 5. So actually 5 to the power of 3 is being calculated. So 5 comma 3 has been passed, and its output argument has been done typecast to integer, and that will be assigned to res, because res is nothing but result of the type of integer variable, and this result value is going to get printed. Here we are calling this user defined function non-recursive. We are passing this 15 and 20. So this 15 is getting assigned to A, and this 20 will be getting assigned to B. So 15 plus 20 will be done, and that will be assigned to sum, and the value of sum will be returned, and the return argument will be dumped onto this result variable, and this result variable is getting printed here. So whatever the output argument is obtained from this add function, that will be initializing this result variable, res variable, and the result variable is getting printed. Now to calculate the factorial, we are calling this recursive function factorial, which takes only one parameter as input. So here we are passing this 6. So 6 will be assigned to num, and the corresponding factorial is going to get calculated. So let us go for the execution here. So 5 to the power of 3 is 125. So 10 plus 15 plus 20, rather it is 15 plus 20. So 15 plus 20 is equal to 35, and then factorial 6 is equal to 720. So in this way, in this particular example and demonstration, we have discussed that how to define recursive functions, non-recursive functions, how to use user-defined functions, predefined functions in our Java code, and what are the different syntaxes and what are the different issues. We have discussed that one into details with proper example.